this segment's going to be about, so you want to be a songwriter. You know, this is an introductory kind of a briefing. I'll tell you a quick story about how I got started in the business. And it was purely accidental, believe it or not. I grew up listening to stations. I'm from St. Tammany Parish. I went to school here. Was born in New Orleans, moved over here when I was 6. What happened is about 15, 16, 17, I was in a band. And we passed a car dealership. And I actually got into the business doing jingles first, you know. And it just so happened from listening to WTIX and stations like that, that I so happened to figure out that they had repetition. There were parts of the songs that had repetition. And so the part that you remembered, the chorus, you know, and that was the most important part of the song. And so anyway, going back to the jingle thing, a buddy of mine and I are driving past a car dealership, and so we go, "Hey man, I think we might could write a jingle for these guys, you know?" And so we get there, and first of all, we went out and bought cheap suits. If you'd have lit a match, we'd have melted. We were, you know, just terrible. You know, we're like Pulp Fiction, man. It was like just the worst. So anyway, so we get there, and the guy says, "We don't have solicitation. You guys leave. You know, get out of here. No solicitors." So I knew from sales, and I was in sales, to not take no for an answer. So I went around the back, and I kind of fudged, and I told the guy, I said, "Hey, your boss wants to see us. We have a song for him." And here we are with long hair and these cheap suits and bad shoes, and we got going there, and we go and meet with the guy, and he's like literally like Boss Hogg. He's like, "What do you boys want?" He's like, you know, really just you know, real gruff, and so we played the song for him in a boombox, and he goes, he said, "This is exactly what I wanted. This is exactly what I was looking for." So we're trying not to high five each other out, you know, of the you know, out of the dealership. So we go, "We got a first jingle, man. We got a first jingle." We didn't even know what to charge. So we do the jingle. You know, we get it all shined up for him. About 3 days later, we get a call from an ad agency. Now, we'd never heard of an ad agency. We're kids. We're neophytes. We get a call from an ad agency, and they say, "We're going to sue the living out of you if, you know, for you trying to steal our clients." Well, what happened was it went from that conversation of trying to steal the clients to, "Hey, if we sent you this, could you maybe do something with this?" So we backed ourselves into this whole operation. And by doing that, and by writing the jingles, it kind of like, I started to get that repetition thing of, okay, that's a chorus. The things that make people remember things. And that was a great training in Jingle Land, because that got me really sparked to write things that people remember. You know, that's the number one thing, you know. And so, you know, I was down in here in playing with different bands. I was playing on Bourbon Street. I was playing weddings. I was playing, you know, whatever I could play. But it wasn't enough money for me to, you know, I wanted to make the big money. I wanted to go and be a songwriter. And I had aspirations of being a star. When I was a kid, I used to sing with a hairbrush in front of a mirror. And I was like, man, I was the guy. And then every family wedding, they put me up in front of the band, and I'd go, and I was Mr. Ah! And I'd do the show thing, and I'd run around and do my thing. And they got a kick out of that, you know. So I knew I wanted to be in music. But I couldn't sustain a career and the money that I was trying to make. But, you know, and I didn't even know you could make money writing songs. You know, I'm just writing songs for the band. I'm thinking, hey, man, the band needs a song, so here's a song. And it probably wasn't a very good song at the time, but at least it was something that got us through as an original song. And so I didn't even know what I was doing, but we were actually writing kind of cool songs and didn't even realize it. But, okay, here's where everything changed. So my mom was an aspiring songwriter as well. She was making trips to Nashville on a regular basis. And she was meeting with people. One year she got sick and she couldn't go. She got the flu. And so she said, you guys need to go in the studio and do what's called a demo, a demonstration tape. And that's when you go in and you try to get, you think of an artist and you try to kind of aim it at that artist, or you try to, get a great song down, so that somebody's going to like. And just by the grace of God, I had that, the part that you remember, the part that makes all the money, the chorus, thank God I remembered that and was writing that in those songs. So we go to Nashville in place of my mom, and me and my dad, we go to the NSAI, which is the Nashville Songwriters Association International. And what they did was they had a 3-day seminar that we were a part of. And then at the third day they had, back then they had cassettes. So they had a cassette roulette. They put your cassettes in a bowl. Well, about 5 or 6 songs in, they pull my song out, and they listen to the song, and they go, well, this is really good. It's got a verse. It's got this, and then the chorus is very memorable, and and so forth. And so I just, and they go, who's singing this? And I raise my hand, and my dad, he was like totally just beaming, he's just so proud, because he's, wow, man, it's like crazy, So the second song comes up that my dad submitted of mine, because each person could submit a song. It doesn't matter if it was your song or whoever's. So he submitted another one of my songs. About 8 or 10 songs later, that came up. Well, what happens is, it plays, and they do the same thing. They go, hey, man, this song's a decent song. Who wrote this? It's got the right idea, and it's got the right form and everything, and it's kind of fitting what's going on, right now. And who sang this? And I raised my hand, and, I mean, the dirty looks in that room were like, it was just like, how dare you? There's 50 people in the room, and it was just an innocent, we're just submitting songs. So the cool thing was, the girl from Warner Brothers and the guy, these are big guys on the panel. So the girl from Warner Brothers, who's one of the head honchos, and the other guy who's a Mondo hit songwriter, they say, hey, no, I get up to get a cup of coffee. I'm going to the back. I'm walking to the back, and I'm to the back of the room, and I'm going to get another cup of coffee. And you know how rude it is. Say if you had a song, and somebody's playing your song, and they cut your song off in the middle of before it gets to the good part. She cuts this guy's song off, and she goes, hey, you're not going anywhere, are you? And I said, no, I'm just getting a cup of coffee over here. And it was like, So it was just my dad was like, oh, God, there just must be something up. She goes, we want to talk to you afterwards. And I said, wow, this is cool. So I went up afterwards and talked to them. And they said, how would you like to be an artist for Warner Brothers? And I said, where do I sign? You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking, tell me. But there's a lot more to it. It's just the beginning. It's like, it's like summer stock for theater. Or it's just, it's the beginnings. It's the very beginnings of what you do. So I had the talent of songwriting, but I didn't have the skill. And the skill is the other part of that. Now the skill is like, okay, how can I make this song better? How can I rewrite it? How can I make every word count in this song? And that's the most important thing. Every word in the song has to back the other line up. And there can't be one weak line. And if you notice, if you listen to great songs, that's the thing. It's every word counts, and you follow along. And so there were a lot of people that were submitting songs that were like we call it Moon, Spoon, and June. In other words, they go, my daddy was a real good man. He worked with both of his hands. Da, da, da. It was always da 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 da. The cadence was always the same, and the rhyme scheme was always the same. Well, I tried to write songs that were different, that weren't exactly rhyme for rhyme, and try to make them mean something and pertain to something, and be conversational with them. And I think that's one of the most important things about a song, is that it has to be real. It has to be conversational. It has to be like a one-way conversation with somebody, where you're just. I wrote a song called "Walk Away Joe," okay, and basically I'm telling you a story about what happened, and I'm telling it from a narrative point of view. I'm looking back and I'm narrating this thing, and it's like, this is what happens when you rush off and you do something too soon. you know. And I like writing songs that are like that. There are other ways of writing songs, which are simply, we talked about this yesterday, that are simply hooks, like, you know, na 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 na, and that's the hook. You know what I mean? And that's the, you know, you just, you know, you remember songs like that. And that's a different kind of a song, because that's called an earworm. It's earworm in the business, as we call it. The best songs, though, that stand the test of time, are the ones that have that have real substance to them. You know, a story song, or a song about, like, think about a song like "The House That Built Me," which is a country song. It's a very well written song from top to bottom. It's really incredible, you know, the way that song's put together. There were several other songs that people had written around me at the time. Another song, oh gosh, I can't remember the guy. Anyway, Bill Anderson wrote it with a couple of guys, but it was just an incredible song. And it had the same thing, that DNA of hooking you and keeping your attention. You know, keeping you know, and that's the one thing you got to remember. You have to keep people's attention at all times with a song. You know, I'm sorry, my voice is a little cracky today. I'm a little under the weather as far as the voice thing, so I might not sing too much today. Yeah, thank you, man. Thanks, I appreciate it. So, going back to you want to be a songwriter, okay? One thing I would say, here's an exercise that you guys can do that'll help a bunch. And this is what I learned through, and again, thank you, man, appreciate it, yeah. Merely through accident. And that was, the rest of the band that I was in at the time was too lazy to write out the lyrics. They you know, they left it up to me to write the lyrics. So what I did was, I'd be writing these lyrics. And as I'm writing the lyrics, what's happening is I'm writing the lyrics down, I'm hearing the music, and it's connecting. And I'm going, oh, I see how they do this. I see how the cadence went. I see how the melody went. You know, and I made that a practice of taking a song and breaking it down and writing. I took 10 of my favorite songs. I'd say, guys, take 10 of your favorite songs, and then just listen to them, and as the line goes by, write it down and watch. Watch how they do it. Because there's a magic that happens through that where you kind of pick up things, you know. And I'm talking about commercial songwriting now. Now we're going to go to writing songs merely for yourself. And those things are very important too, because they can apply across the board. You want to write things that are common to all people. Love, you know, losing a job, losing somebody passing away. You know, things that everybody has gone through in life. And you want those commonalities, you know, to be in songs. And that's a very, very important thing. So, you know, whenever I'm writing a song, if I write a song about there's one song I wrote that was about a guy that was getting ready to commit suicide. He was getting ready to jump off a bridge, and the girl said, wait a second, man. You know, you got a lot to live for. And she talks him off the bridge, basically, you know. And songs with impact, songs that are agents of change. And I'm a big believer in that music is a very powerful instrument. You know, music changed. Look at the 60s, guys. Look what it did then. Look what it's doing now. Look what it's doing now, right now. And music is changing things and bringing understanding among people, and it's really doing a great job, again, like it did in the 60s. Music is always going to be there, and songs are always going to be there. Write protest songs. Write things that you're mad about. It's okay, man. It's your expression. It's your right and your license to do that. You can write whatever you want to write. You know, I write everything from love songs to, I'll tell you a funny story, and then I told you guys this yesterday. I worked with a guy named Steven Seagal. Oh boy. And it was like one of the not good experiences of my life. So, but he wanted to write songs that were very obtuse and very negative, you know, and very like, you know, he wanted to say things like, I wanted to kill certain people, or I wanted to do these kind of, I mean, just really just dark stuff. And I said, I can't go there. So what I would do is I'd lead him over here. And I'd say, well, let me write this kind of thing. And we would, you know, I'd lead him over to certain things. But he had a right to write whatever he wanted to. But I couldn't be connected to that because, you know, my reputation's involved with that, and I just don't want to do that. But the thing is like, you can write anything you want to write about. And a lot of times, personal things that are personal to you go across the board. They go across the board. If somebody's broken your heart, there's 10 million people out there, zillion, more than that, you know, that have gone through this, you know. And so, you know, write about those things. Write about, you know, just, you know, life. Find things in life other than just love. You know what I mean? And I'm going to give you an example a little bit. Brett, I'll probably bring you up. Not yet, but we'll come up in a little bit and we'll do this. But, you know, the thing is, I also would come down here and I'd see all these great talented writer guys, and I'd see all these great singers and guys that are phenomenally talented guys. And I'm going, why aren't you doing something, you know? And I used to say, why aren't you in L.A. or why aren't you in New York? Why aren't you in Nashville? Well, we started this thing called the Ozone Music Education Foundation. And what we're doing right now is we're trying to rebuild that industry using the mentorship of these people from New York, L.A., and Nashville, and helping us rebuild our music community here. Now, this was in New Orleans. All the stuff happened in New Orleans. All the big stuff happened. But this is a regional thing we're talking about. This is including Mississippi. This is including the whole region. But it's based in St. Tammany Parish is where we'll be based. Our studios, our things that we're doing. We're going to try to start popping those artists out of here. You know what I mean? Saying this artist came from here. This artist came from St. Tammany Parish eventually. But that's what Ozone's about, is building that infrastructure that is needed, you know, and we know what the infrastructure is. It's, you know, I told somebody yesterday as well. I said what we have in Louisiana is we have oil. We found a bunch of oil coming out of the ground, but nobody built a derrick over it. You know what I mean? It's just flowing out of the ground right there. You know what I mean? So we got to build a derrick on this and make, you know, and make it a, you know, where people can get to it. So what we're doing is doing that. We're building the infrastructure slowly, a piece at a time, and it's moving faster than we really anticipated. It's been crazy how fast it's moving along. And the other thing is we also have a thing called the Ozone Music Gifting Program, where we gift instruments to people who really want to learn how to play, and also those who are underprivileged and can't afford guitars and instruments and pianos. But to anybody who really wants to learn, we want to teach them. You know, we want to get them in with lessons. We want to teach them how to songwrite. We want to teach them how to produce, how to engineer, how to be in the music management end of things, how to be, you know, these are all these things that are going to come within years. This is a 10 to 15 year plan. We don't expect this to happen overnight. We're you know, setting it up a little at a time. We're eating an elephant one bite at a time is what we're doing. And it's happening faster than we anticipated, but it's going great, and we're very proud of that. So, but I'm gonna take some questions real quick from any of you guys that have any questions for anything.
The question was, once I have a lyric written that I'm satisfied with it, what's the next step? What's the conduit to get it in front of an artist so that they could play it? I don't play.
Okay.
I don't sing, but they could.
What you would do?
How do you market?
Okay.
That?
There are several companies, and this, and I hate to say, I keep using Nashville, but right now that's where all the resources are that we can use. But we're trying to move those down here that we can do stuff. With Studio 433, we're going to start doing stuff with them as well, doing demos down here like you would do in Nashville. But for right now, you'd go to Nashville and you'd say, hey, I want to do a demo of this song. They would arrange it for you. They would sit there and go, well, this kind of might need to be shortened in this. They would help you out with that, of course. And then you'd get in there and you'd have a demo with a singer. Unless you're a singer, you'd hire a singer that would sing the song. You sing them the rough melody. They would make it into what you want, you'd coach them. You go, well, I don't really like this here. I like this, and you'd walk out of there under your arm with a demo that you could play for somebody. Here's my idea. Here it is. And then the next step in that to get it to people is you have to network. And so you really have to kind of, again, I hate saying that we're not, we're bringing the music business to Louisiana. It's not here yet, but for now, Nashville, yeah, you're going to have to go make some trips to Nashville, and this because it's the closest place. Unless you're, depending on the style of the song. If it's a pop song, you want to go to L.A., New York. But you want to set meetings up with people. You want to call them up and say, hey, I got some songs I want to play you. And not just a song, but songs. You want to have a pile of stuff because they don't want to hear just one song. They want to hear, like, you got more for where that came from? My rule is 3 songs. Bring out your best 3 songs and play them your best 3 songs, and that's the thing.
Also,
so,
if I can interrupt you,
yes,
Greg. Also, make sure that you sign up and give us your email address for the Ozone Music Education Foundation, because one of our goals is to connect people here.
Yep.
And create a network, or I call it net weaving, where we have this whole fabric of a music to support a industry. But if you make sure we have your email address, and next Friday night at Wine Garden here in Slidell, we're having a songwriter night. Come. There's going to be writers, musicians. You could connect up with somebody. We'll be happy to try to help you here too.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna talk about how I write a song in a minute, but I just want to finish up on So you want to be any other questions, guys? Yep.
Okay, so the big 3: copyright, publisher, music license. It's pretty well known how we copyright something, but what do you do? What do you do when it comes to a publisher and ASCAP versus BM?
Okay, I have an admin person, and what she does is she works for Tim McGraw, she works for Jason Aldean, Bonnie Raitt, everybody. But what she does is every song that I write, I have to let her know what it is. So it goes into my music company called Gatorized Music, because I'm from Louisiana. I put Gatorized Music, and so what we do is everything I do these days goes into Gatorized Music, and she tracks that. Anything anywhere that pings it digitally, she collects the money on that. She takes care of the PRO stuff. I'm with the CSAC.
What is a PRO?
PRO is a performing rights organization. They're the guys who collect your money for you. They're the guys who go after the money, And so, they're it's kind of a lesser of all evils, but because they make a bunch of money on you, but that's just the way the system is set up and was set up. ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, right. And you have to be a member of one of those. Right. She's a one-stop shop for that, for me. Yep. What was the third question? You had another question, I believe. Yep. That covers everything. So, yeah, my publishing is Gatorized. I have my own publishing company, yeah. So yeah.
Do you accept other people and publish them?
Not really, because it's kind of a slippery slope. I've got enough to worry about with myself. I'm a handful, but I do recommend, when I find somebody who's great, I do recommend them to people to go see. I say, you got to see this guy. And I'll send them over to people. You know what I mean? So that's what I do.
Do you have perhaps 2 major publishing companies that you would recommend?
Well, yeah, I'd say Peer Music is a great company. Peer,
Music?
P-E-E-R, Music. There's also, there's so many of them. I would recommend. I would recommend like Sony. You get a meeting with somebody big. If you're going to shoot for the stars, shoot for the stars. You know what I mean? Go to Sony. You never know if that song's going to be something they need at that moment. You know what I mean? Go to BMG is another one. BMG, Sony. So, same thing.
Okay. So the songs that you and I are going to work on, would you prefer them be published through your company or?
No, you'll have your publishing company, and I'll have my publishing company, and so your admin will probably, unless you find somebody on your own. It'll probably run through my company, not through my company, through my admin person who's going to be controlling your half. It has nothing to do. It's like two different attorneys. It's not like it's not. Right, exactly, and they totally treat each other as autonomous from each other. You know. So yeah.
What if I don't have a publishing company?
What's that?
Do I start one or?
Yeah, you start one. Yeah,
Oh, you start,
and I can
okay.
help you with that stuff. It's so easy. It's not
Okay.
hard to do. Yeah. Yeah.
Or you could just publish together.
Yeah, but the thing is, you want to own your own publishing because that's where you make all your money. You know. So that's it. You know. So anybody else?
No, I love the question.
One micro part of that publishing company thing. You're smart to have your own publishing company
Yes.
because that's where the money goes, right?
That's right.
Now, let's say the typical on-the-street songwriter who publishes with a publishing company because the company wants it, what percentage of the money does the publishing company get out of that?
They're
Whatever you
usually
can-
going to do. These days, they're usually going to probably do 100% publishing, and it's just because you're a newbie and you don't have any power yet, and you come in, they're going to take 100% of your publishing, and then after you can negotiate. After a while, you can get what's called a reversion, which some of that money comes back to you. But more than likely, they're going to say, you're going to get in this movie, you're going to get your writer's money, but we're going to take your publishing money. Now, writer's money and publishing money are two different monies. You know, so publishing money is about time and a half of writer's money. So you got to think of it that way. But you're going to make a lot of if you got to smash songs worldwide and it hits radio or it hits some place that's actually going to make you some money, you're gonna make good money on the writing end. But eventually you can negotiate your publishing back. You know, and that's attorneys, and it's just the way the business works. You know, you've got to litigate yourself back to where you need to be, you know, so.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do publishers actually market your music for you? Or is that
Yes.
yet another
Yes, they do.
spoken wheel?
They have what's called song pluggers. And what they do is they send out pluggers. They have their own pluggers that go meet with artists, the producer, the record labels. So they meet with all these people. So they do the groundwork for you. If they truly believe in a song, they'll be on fire for you. They'll go do that. But a lot of times they will take, if it's not a great song, they'll say, oh yeah, for $500 a month, I'll run your songs for you. Well, that's kind of like, you don't want to go with those people. They're taking money out of your pocket. If somebody really loves a song and believes in it, they're not going to charge you a dime because they know they're going to make money on the other end of that. So usually somebody that sticks their hand out and wants money, it's an ulterior motive.
So when you write your publishing deal, you want to include verbiage for future renegotiations for your publishing rights? Is that what you were saying
Repeat the
earlier?
first part of what you said.
I said earlier, if I understood, when you're doing your publishing deal, you want to include verbiage that will state that in the future you will renegotiate for publishing.
No, you didn't even have to say that because a contract's only as good as the paper it's written on, and so and one other thing I would say, I told somebody else this a little bit ago. Email that song to yourself. When you write it and you put it down, email it to yourself because that holds water. It does hold water. And so they could say timestamp, it was written this day. It was written, the name of the song. It could be I Love You. Or it could be a title that's a million people have written. But if you've written that song on that day and you've written it with your co-writers or whatever, you put all your information in and email it to yourself, that's a record of like when I wrote that song. So, and that still holds up in court, by the way. So, anyway, but I would still cover myself with a copyright. Just go ahead and do that, the whole thing. So, but any other questions, guys? So I'm going to move into the songwriting part of how I do. Say how I'm going to start writing a song, And since we're here for movies and stuff, I'm going to gear a song. Okay, just to let you know about songwriting for movies. When you're writing songs for movies, the worst thing you can do is try to write a narrative of what the scene is. You know what I mean? Don't try to write the scene. You know what I mean? You don't do that. You write a song that feels like they plucked it, like, wow, we found this great song that would fit in the movie, and that's what you want to write. You want to write that kind of a song. Now what I do is I usually will read the script, and I'll look through it, and I'll get ideas kind of for it, but then I'll pull myself away, and I'll try to write something I call it derivative writing. So I try to write away from what would be expected, because 9 times out of 10 they're looking for something quirky or something that's different, that's not going to be on the scene, you know. And so you don't want to be on the scene. You want to be something that, just for instance, if there was I'll give you an example. Let me just pull the guitar and show you. So anyway, I got a love scene, okay? I got a love scene where a girl is leaving a guy, and she's maybe getting on a train, and she's going to Chicago, and she knows she's going to see him for the last time. Okay, that's just our scene that we're setting up. So we're going to say, and I'll start with the chorus first, you know. But you'll see this does connect to some degree, but it's like I'm going to put other things in that are not going to connect it. So the chorus might be, oh, I think I'm going to miss you. I think I'm going to love you, baby, all my life. And never let go. Oh, I think I'm going to miss you. You know, so you know, that it says I'm going to miss you, but I'm going to put words in the verse that's going to take it away from that. That's got like, you and I, and me and you, had on. Let me think. I'm thinking of words as I'm going. So, you and I, yeah, me and you, all the things that we've been through. I never thought I'd have to let you go. But now the time is coming, I know we gotta say goodbye, even though I never wanted to. Oh, and it feels like. Anyway. But you guys see what I'm talking about, right? As far as it's kind of connected, but it's really not. You know, I put it up. You know, I didn't say anything about a train, or I got to get on a train, and this, that, and the other. I didn't narrate that scene. It's just like I pulled and that would be more like like an Adele thing or something. You know what I mean? You know, she would sing, an artist like that would sing that, you know. And so I would, see that in a scene. Most of the time I get to look at a script, like I said, and I can go and look down the script and I can see where those points are going to be, where music's going to come in. I can look at that. But a lot of times what we get is what's called dailies, where we can look at things and it'll give us a little bit of a heads up of the feel of what's going on, you know.
Hey, Greg, I have a question.
Yes.
Yep. So, you know, I'm a huge Beatle fan, right?
Yep.
And you know, they Lennon McCartney team, they wrote so many songs. It's pretty much incredible, right? But a couple of songs, or several songs, these guys said, well, you know what? I woke up in the middle of the night, and I had to go to the kitchen, and I had to write this down.
Right.
And I don't think I wrote this song. It just came to me like Lennon's Across the Universe, right?
Yeah.
Words are flowing out like endless, right? I think it was Let It Be on McCartney's side. He said, that one he just dreamed it. And do you have any songs that have just suddenly appeared to you?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
And I have to write them down. And I'm a believer in God, and God comes through me with these songs. So one of the things is, what happens is like God talks to you in the quietest hours. You have to, it's in 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, that stuff's coming through you, man. And you got to get up and write it down, or you'll miss it. Because the next day, I guarantee you'll get up and you'll try to remember it. You won't remember it. And that's how it is. It always is the same way. So, that's just that last thing I was saying, somebody getting on a train or whatever. I didn't mention anything about a train. I just mentioned the normal goodbye between two people. And And of course, the production would take it to a different place. Right now, I'm playing on an acoustic guitar, and it sounds like almost country. But when I get into production mode, I can make that really lush and make it sound like a modern track, you know. And then also mess with the cadence of the lyric and the lines. So, but and then there's just fun stuff, you know, like you know. I gotta think of another one. Okay, say like it's a Halloween movie. There's three movies I'm working on. There's one called Santa versus the Zombies, which is kind of crazy. There's another one, and it's not what you think. It's not typically the usual zombie movie. It's kind of real comedic and overdone. It's almost like a Leslie Nielsen zombie movie or something. It's just bizarro. Yeah, it's just nuts. And then the other movie is Cry Baby, and that movie's about a bunch of kids that escape at night. They're in a reform school, and they escape and they go do these horrible things. They like go kill people and they come back and nobody suspects what they're doing. You know, it's kind of a macabre thing. And it's all dark music. So you know, so for that I'd go, oh, you scare me, baby. Oh, you scare me like I never been scared in my whole life. In my whole life. Oh, you scare me, baby. And I don't know what to do. 'Cause every time I turn out the lights, you're there. Oh, you know, that kind of thing. And that's like, you know, that even though it's not about the kids or anything like that, you scare me, baby, could apply to that, because it's just like wow, like you pulled a song for a movie, and it works. You know what I'm saying? So those kind of things, and that's generally is this thing on? Yeah, it's on. Anyway, kind of weak. Yeah. Anyway, can you guys hear me? Okay. Okay, great. But that's for an example of not writing to scene. You know, don't write to a scene in a movie. You know, and I wrote a song called Walk Away Joe, which was a big hit a while back. And they used it in a movie called The Thing Called Love, was the name of the movie. And they used it in a scene, again, where she's getting on a Greyhound bus, and she's leaving, and she's, you know, and they start playing the song, and it just kind of encapsulates what she shouldn't have done. And it just happens at a perfect time. And I'm a music supervisor as well. I score. I do music supervision, and I score. So I know how to place things in places where, and I know how to find songs that fit those parts. You know what I mean? Like okay, we got to find a song here that's kind of sideways and twisted and kind of got a thing that's like, you know, it's got a thing that's gonna give the movie a little extra oomph. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times the soundtracks create as much, power and what do you call it? I'm just trying to think of the word. Huh? Emotion, but yeah, the emotional part. But they add that big thing to, they amp the movie up twice as much as the movie is, you know, it adds to that. So anyway, one other thing I'd like to address right now too, aside from the movie thing, is, including the movie thing, I should say. What I do is, you know, we also do what's called co-writing, and this is an interesting thing too. Now, when I sit down and I write a song by myself, like these songs I just wrote you, that's me writing by myself. What I'll do is I'll think of a chorus first, General. I'll think of like, all these lights, they don't mean a thing. All they do is shine. And all these people laughing out there, oh, it's what I do every night. I'm just making this stuff up, so I've got to fix it. But it's a long, hard road getting to where you think you wanted to go. Oh, it's a long, long road. Hold on, any band on the line here. But I'm glad that I got you at the end, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's a scene for like a big, like Michael, that movie we were talking about, like the big, you know, it's like the love scene, or them singing to an audience or whatever. You know, that's just a broad brush thing I just made up off the top of my head. But we're talking about, you know, that's me writing a song by myself. I'm just making stuff up, and then I go back and I edit that. And editing is a very important thing too. Go back and edit that song. Go back and look at the weakest parts of that song and make it as strong as you can. And also make it as conversational as you can. If you listen to Bonnie Raitt, if you listen to John Mayer, if you listen to current guys like, geez, I'm trying to think of somebody who's real, God, man, there's so many people out there right now. Huh? Oh, John Prine. John Prine sings, yeah, totally, yeah. So about the situation, right? And they're real things that apply to life. So when you write a song by yourself, just think of a one-way conversation. Think of it like you're talking to somebody, but you're talking from your side of the conversation. And it doesn't have to rhyme. It doesn't have to go we call them A-B rhymes, like da-da-da-da-da-da, day-da-day-da-day, da-da-da-da-da-da, day-da-day-da-day. That's the usual thing that people do. It's called sing-songy kind of thing. But if I just said like, tomorrow may never come, so tonight I want to be with you. I just want to stay in your arms and spend the night. Because you see, I never rhymed one thing in there, but you're feeling the emotion from it. It's got the same effectiveness as a song that's rhymey, you know what I mean? So my next section, what I want to talk about is co-writing, okay? Now, I write songs by myself a lot. Brett, you want to come up here, man? We're going to come kind of do something. Oh, yeah, sure, man, yeah. And you just probably hold the mic. Bring your chair up here, too, man. Yeah. So what we do as writers, as a co-write, is we get in a room, and I've written with as many as 4 or 5 writers in a room, and it is a cluster, believe me. It's like, you know what it is. It's like, you know, it's like 10 people writing a script, you know, or correcting a script, and a friggin', you know what I mean? It's like, okay, same thing. But only with music. I'm gonna ask you. Do you have any ideas for anything right now?
I have an idea. Now, when you're writing songs, you always looking for. You could pull song titles from a title of a book, streets. I mean anything. Okay, so I have this title that I've been conjuring. You know, I was a book I was reading, and the title of the book was called "Talking to the Sky." Great. So, so these thoughts started coming. I'm talking to this guy. So now I'm getting these little mini scenes that I want to write about. That say, you know, I had unfortunately my mother passed away in March of COVID. So I'm thinking of like a hospital scene, a guy or girl on their knees talking to the sky, to God about, man, can help me here, or get me through this, or a girl going off to college first time. So that's
So yeah, to me that translates to almost a prayer kind of vibe. So, but without being holy, without being religious, you know, like. So let's try to start with a chorus.
And I have a little bit of a chorus.
Okay, what do you got?
It's she was talking to the sky and asking God why, and is there really something on the other side? And then I kind of got stuck there.
Well, she was talking
to the sky and asking God why.
I know there is. Because I got a feeling there is, man. Maybe you don't know there is, but like you go, like,
Yeah.
I got a feeling there is, 'cause I know that you're here with me right now.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but something made me feel like talking to the sky. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we now that's our you know, we got kind of a chorus
A little.
that we're gonna work with.
Yeah,
and
and
we may change that. That may change totally. You know, but
and then obviously we got to add some verses to it. So with that.
so without you adding your verses,
Yeah.
let's work together. And try
Okay.
to come up with a verse.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. I think it's assumed. I think it's almost understood when you. Well, first off, that's just the chorus. So we're going to set it up in the verse. So we go back and we'll set it up in the verse, like what's your first line you had of that?
Just that she was talking to the sky.
So we set up a story before that, No, right. Tell me the words again.
Talking to the sky and asking God why. Is there really something on the other side?
Okay.
And she was talking. That's why I was going.
So
with it.
I'd go like, and this makes it real when you do things like this, like, I went to see her down at Memorial. Walked through the doors and to the second floor. She was lying there, smiling like she always did. I said, good to see you. I don't have the lines, but
Yeah.
and then I'll like, and then we'll have a B section, which will be like,
Like a pre-chorus kind of
I
thing?
don't know why we always have to let go,
Yeah.
But if there's one thing that I know,
And talking to the
yeah. Well, if there's one thing, but we got to transition that and make it a transition to where it makes sense going into that chorus conversationally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I said the last thing. I wish I was recording this. So
I know.
It goes by so quick and I forget it because I'm writing it on the spot. She was smiling. She was laying there like she always does,
Yeah.
And yep. 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 Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Or you knew they were going to go to the cemetery, but it'd be even cooler. Like, and those flowers I got her, I knew where they would be. I knew where they were going to be next week. Without giving it away, you're alluding to that.
Yeah.
And people put it together in their minds, you know what I mean? Right. Yeah. Yeah. And she was letting go. We all know she was letting go. And those flowers that somebody brought her, they were sweet. But I knew where they were gonna be next week. You know what I mean? And so, I'm setting up that whole story about so I'm talking to this guy or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing, where that's gonna grab people's hearts and get them, have them buy in.
Yeah. I mean, because you have all these, fun riding it, but because I'm more of a country guy, so you can write all these back. But I'm with Greg. I really try. Try to focus on writing something with some substance and it's something that's really going to grab somebody. Like you said, those are the songs.
Like Live Like You Were Dying.
Yeah. That's kind of the mind frame I had for this particular. Or a little bit of like the don't take the girl with the different little scenes.
Exactly right.
Yeah, something like
that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and that's the other thing too. You can look at other songs and listen to other songs and glean from that. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to pull things that you dig from other songs. And just like if you like an Al Green song, man, and you got this, it's got doom, 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 and I'm gonna write something like that. It's all right. It's right to take that because you're paying homage to that. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as you don't copy. You're not plagiarizing or stealing that melody or the rest of the instrumentation. You're taking things from that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Same with the country thing. I make a joke. I say if everybody in Nashville was like LA and New York, we'd all be in trouble because they'd be suing each other every 5 minutes because there's 3 chords, you know, kid? And there's only, certain ways you can do 3 chords. But,
3 chords in the truth, they call it, huh?
Exactly right, yeah. But and I've written for Broadway as well, and that's another whole ball game. Now, I'll just to talk to you about Broadway. Thanks, man.
Yeah. All right, brother. Yeah, we gotta write that song too.
So now writing for Broadway is a whole different ball game, and it's similar to movies, but in this case you do have to be the narrative guy. So I don't know what, and it's very wordy, a lot of the stuff. So we wrote I'll give you an example. I wrote a song for a Christmas song. I can't. My guitar's not mic'd in, but anyway, I'll talk about it because you're not going to be able to hear the guitar. But what we did was we were out in California and we were writing bad country songs, and we just said, I don't want to do this right now. I want to write some great Christmas songs. In the middle of summertime, we're sitting by the pool in L.A., and we wrote like 8 songs in like 2 days. Crazy, just one after the other. But we wanted to write them in that classic vein, you know what I mean? But we wanted to write them like Jerry Herman and like the old school guys, you know what I mean? So one of the songs we wrote was Christmas in Miami, and I wrote one that was real New Orleans-y. It was out this year. I put it out. Let me think of a great one I wrote. One of these is was for one of these is going to be in the Santa movie that I got, but it goes. It's like a Bobby Darin kind of thing. It goes, ho, 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 here we go, it's Christmas time again. Here come the cat with the big red sack and a hair on his chinny chin. Have you been bad? Have you been good? Or have you been so-so? No, you can't find an alibi. Santa doesn't know. It's written in that Bobby Darin kind of old school stuff, and the band's going banana. It's in that vernacular, and we cut it to make it sound like that. So it sounds like you pulled the piece from way back, and so it sounds that we got a guy that sings like that, and it's a whole 9 yards. So it's we're going to use that in a Christmas movie, and we play against type a lot of times in movies. In other words, what you expect to hear, we don't put in there. We put in something completely different. It may be a punky piece for a love song, for a love thing. It depends on what the movie is, how the movie is, the feel of the movie. Once I see the feel of the movie, or I see some dailies and I see what's going on, and I see how they're putting it together, that's when I get in there and I go, okay, I can start hearing the score, and I start hearing the songs that I know the people I can go to for these kind of songs. And it's not just me writing the songs. I'm scoring, but I may write 1 or 2 of the songs in the movie, but 9 times out of 10, I'm listening to thousands of songs and pulling songs from catalogs, and there's so many great songs for that. So, but anyway, any questions about this, guys? Yes. For instance, Al Schmidt, who's a very famous engineer, and a couple of Steve Dorff, a friend of mine, who's an incredible arranger, composer, conductor. He does the whole 9 yards. I do the same thing. We're all in the same boat. What we do is we write the score on piano first. We kind of get the parts in place. Then we figure out the voicings of where the violins and the woodwinds and everything's going to be, and what's going to get the most emotional impact out of that scene. Whether it be a tense scene, whether it's going to be something's getting ready to happen, we have to create that tension, And but your question again, go back. I got off the track here. What's that? Orchestration. So what happens is we have a guy who gets all our players together for us. He's the contractor. He gets everybody paid. He's the guy who comes in. So I come in the studio with my score. I've got my whole score written out. It's all, all the violins, everything's written, everything's the way it's supposed to be. We get them to play it down a few times, and then once they play it down, we figure out little things we can fix, as far as that goes. Now, a lot of times we'll do what's called in the box. We will record a lot of the strings, woodwinds, nice sounds, things that we use in the box, and then we'll overlay strings. We'll go in the studio because it saves money, and that's how we do a lot of lower budget films. And it still sounds great. You can't tell the difference. So what we do is we do that, and it saves money because you got to pay union scale to all these guys. Now the LPO down here is different, and we plan on using the LPO when we're doing films down here. We're going to be using Louisiana Philharmonic. We're going to be getting them coming over. We're eventually going to get them a soundstage. I mean, a major league soundstage where they can do LA quality work here, and we're talking about we have some big plans for St. Tammany Parish. And just like, I say this, just like Marconi invented the radio, okay? I said this yesterday, spark is matter. Remember we talked about spark, thought is matter. Thought is matter. It starts with a spark. That's matter. Okay, that electricity is matter. So matter manifests itself into whoever designed that chair, whoever built this auditorium. It was in their mind at one point as a spark that came, and it manifests itself into reality. That's the same thing we're doing with ozone. Things are happening, and God's got his hands in this too as well. You know what I mean? So what we do is we just follow the steps. And when it gets too hard to do things, that's not the way to go. We got to go this way. You know what I mean? And it's kind of a weird thing in my life that God guides my steps. And I'm not a really overly religious, holy roller guy. I just know that there's somebody over us that's guiding our steps. It's really been great. It's been fantastic so far how fast this has happened with Ozone. We have the Ozone Music Education Foundation, and what we're doing is we're bringing in the music business. We're bringing in the music business like it is in Nashville and LA and New York, and we're actually re-energizing New Orleans to be a music center again. And it was a music center at one time. It was, all these guys, Fats Domino, Ernie Cato, all these great guys came out of here. You know what I mean? So all we're redoing is we're restarting the engine. The engine's been sitting idle for a while, so we're restarting the engine, and we're putting new parts on it. You know what I mean? It's gonna be killer, And we're gonna have a one-stop shop here where we can do the music here. We can do everything here. We can do orchestration here, and we're gonna work on getting that stuff to keep coming here because people love coming to Louisiana to shoot movies. They love coming here. They love the experience. They love the atmosphere of the city in New Orleans. They love the region. The whole region. And we're very regional as far as we're regional minded. We're not just St. Tammany. We're based in St. Tammany Parish, but we're regional minded. So there's going to be people from Mississippi, blah, 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 coming over to do stuff. Any other questions before I have to wrap it up here? But going back to your orchestration thing real quick. What we do is we do a score. I just want to finish up this while I'm thinking about it. So what we do is a score. We get the score matched to film. We're looking at the completed film, and we go, okay, here's where it needs to become more emotional. So those strings sneak in, or if it's a tense part, we know where that's going to start building tension, and so we have to start developing that tension. And we have also what's called sound design, and that's thumps and weird noises and sounds that we use. That's a whole different ball game. It's almost like what they used to call Foley, but it's like, it's sound design. So, okay, yeah, definitely. But anyway, that's. Thank you guys for having me. My time's up, but hope I gave you some informative information, and you can talk to me afterwards and ask me any questions if you guys need to. So, thank you guys.